If you're an Ontario landlord, the way you handle unpaid rent changes on September 21st, 2026. The N4. The notice you serve when a tenant hasn't paid drops from 14 days to 7 for monthly tenants. That's half the time. But here's what catches people out. Serve it one day early and the notice is worthless. Let's go through exactly what changes, what doesn't, and what you need to do before the date. This comes from Bill 60, the Fighting Delays, Building Faster Act. It passed in November 2025, and then nothing happened. That changed on June 30th, 2026, when Tribunals Ontario confirmed a rollout in 2 stages. The first wave landed July 1st. The second wave, the one that changes your N4, lands September 21st. For 7 months, the changes sat unproclaimed. No start date. A lot of landlords assumed the new rules were already live. They weren't. So what actually changes? One number. Right now, if your tenant pays monthly or yearly, the termination date has to sit at least 14 days after they receive the notice. 14. From September 21st? 7. And if your tenant pays weekly or daily, nothing changes. You've been on 7 days all along. For everyone else, this is new. 7 days to pay? 7 days before you can file your L1 with the landlord and tenant board. A full week gone from the front of every non-payment case you run. Now the trap. This is the most important 30 seconds of this video, so stay with me. The rule keys of the date you serve the notice, not the date you file, not the date of your hearing, the service date. If you serve an N4 with a 7-day termination date before September 21st, that notice is defective, not late, not close enough. Defective. The board can dismiss your application and you restart the whole process weeks behind where you started. So until September 21st, monthly tenancy 14 days. Every single time, even if the tenant is clearly not paying, even if you're 3 days out from the change. Let's cover what is not changing because there's a lot of noise online right now. The form number doesn't change, it's still an N4. But check the version date before you serve in late September. The current form has the 14-day rule printed right on it, so expect a reissue. The grounds are unchanged, and N4 is still only for non-payment of rent. Not damage, not noise, not anything else. The tenant's right to void is unchanged. If they pay everything owing before the termination date, the notice is void and the tenancy continues. That right doesn't disappear. The window just gets shorter. And the service rules are unchanged. How you deliver the notice and the deemed service days added on top work exactly as they do today. Which brings us to the arithmetic. And this is where most N4s actually fail. The 7 days runs from when the tenant is deemed to have received the notice, not from when you put it in the mail. Get that by 1 day wrong and the notice fails. 1 day, hand delivery or putting it in the mailbox at the unit counts as same-day service. Under a 7-day clock, that's worth a lot more than it used to be. Here are the 4 errors that void N4s most often. 1. The arrears total doesn't match what's actually owed. Mail or courier, and the board adds 5 days, so a notice mailed on October 1st is deemed received on the 6th and your earliest termination date is the 13th. 2. You've included something that isn't rent, utilities, NSF fees, damage costs. 3. The termination date is too early. 4. The tenant's name or the unit address doesn't match the lease. The board isn't forgiving on any of these, and a shorter timeline makes small errors cost more because there's less room to catch them before you file. One more thing worth knowing. Since July 1st, penalties for RTA offenses went up sharply to $100,000 for individuals and $500,000 for corporations. Faster process, higher stakes for cutting corners. Those two things arrived together on purpose. If you're a tenant watching this, here's what matters for you. From September 21st, if you receive an N4, don't assume you've got 2 weeks. Read the termination date printed on the form itself and work backwards from it. You still have the right to void the notice by paying the full amount before that date. And a notice with the wrong dates or the wrong amount is still defective, which is still worth raising at a hearing. So what should you do in the next few weeks? 3 things. 1. Tighten your rent ledger. Shorter timelines leave less room to argue about arithmetic in front of an adjudicator. Every payment dated, every balance current. 2. Decide your serving trigger now. If your policy has been wait and see, pick a day of the month and write it down. Consistency is what makes a shorter clock actually work in your favor. 3. Put September 21st in your calendar and do not serve a 7-day N4 the day before it. That's the N4 change. This is general information, not legal advice. If you've got a live arrears situation, talk to a paralegal or a lawyer. At 10 on 10, our N4 builder does the date math and the arrears total for you, and it switches to the 7-day rule automatically on September 21st. It's free for small portfolios. Link in the description. Subscribe. If you want the N12 changes next, those land on the same date, and they're a bigger deal than most landlords realize.